If there's anyone out in the hall, we need you to come in. If people aren't in the meeting, I need to cancel the meeting, so we need to come in from the hallway. We won't be tight for very long. I don't have to close the door. I just need, if anybody's in the hallway, if they're here for this meeting, they need to be in the room. All right. Good evening. My name is Mary Maslowski. I'm the chair of the Harwich Historic District and Historic Commission. I'm calling to order the meeting for Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. It is 6 p.m. We are holding the meeting at the small hearing room at Town Hall at 732 Main Street. Please, if there are people in the hallway, I need you to come into the meeting. You can line up along here, along the side, but I can't have people in the hallway. You can line up along the side. So first, I just want to start with a roll call.
Bob Doan.
Brendan Lowney.
Lynn Zalisak.
All right, there are 4 of us here this evening, so anything would require a unanimous vote of 4. I'm going to start with the recording notice. According to Mass General Law, anyone who intends to record the meeting must first notify the chair, who will then inform the other attendees at the start of the meeting. Is anybody intending to record audio or video? Hearing none. I'm going to take things out of order. First, we're going to start with the First Baptist Church. If you would state your name for the record for me, please.
Attorney Jamie Vieira.
Thank you, Attorney Vieira. We have been advised that council has rendered an opinion relative to the First Baptist Church matter before us. My understanding that I was only privy to limited information late this afternoon that the town council has advised that it is premature before us at this hearing, and that there are some prerequisites that need to happen. So that is an opinion that's been rendered to administration, to the Board of Selectmen, so I would suggest reaching out to them in the morning. Leaves me with 2 options this evening. We can either have you withdraw without prejudice. We would hold your application fee in abeyance for the 1 year. So if you reapply on this matter on or before December 17th, 2025, it would be without fee because you've already paid a fee. Or we can open and continue the meeting to a date certain, which would allow you to try and work out the matters that are the prerequisites according to the select board, or according to the opinion to the select board. And then what I would need to do at this point is continue it to the January meeting. If you were ready on the January meeting, then we would go forward, or we would continue it to the February meeting on a meeting-to-meeting basis. That being said, by doing the continuance, you would be agreeing to toll the timeframes in the demolition delay bylaw. So those are the 2 options that I have before me this evening. So I just wanted to take care of that. I know a lot of people are here to discuss that matter. And like I said, I've been privy to this only because of the timing of our meeting this evening. So I just wanted to raise that first. And we're happy to entertain whichever option you would prefer.
Can I start with a question?
Certainly.
Okay. Can you share with me this opinion of what constitutes premature or prerequisite that has to be addressed before we come here?
I cannot. I've only been privy to that opinion. I would say the best suggestion is to reach out to council and to administration in the morning, and they can advise you further. I don't even have an executive session on the book, so I can't even share with my board, and I wouldn't be the appropriate person to tell you what those prerequisites are. So I understand you would like 5 minutes to confer with your client, or...
No, I'm the same person. I'm the client and the lawyer. How about
Okay, you're both.
So, all right. So I appreciate you can't answer the question because you don't know, and I can't fault you for that because you don't know. Sadly, it happened at 6:05
Understood.
here this evening. So of the 2 options, I'm going to elect the option to continue to the next meeting
Okay.
because I'm pretty confident. I think I have an understanding of what this issue is, and we're going to tidy that up.
Like I said, an opinion was rendered for the Board of Selectmen, and as I said, I was advised of it simply because of the timing of our meeting this evening. So, so then I would entertain that
When is that date?
the next date, we meet on the third Wednesday of every month, so the January meeting should be, if you give me a second.
15th? 15th?
Oh, if I could find a calendar on my phone updated, so everything changed. So yes, January the 3rd would be the 15th. Be Wednesday night, the 15th at 6 p.m. Are you available that evening?
One other question. I asked for one, can I have two?
You can have two.
All right. For purposes of the tolling, I understand the tolling would be the time period within which, after the close of the meeting, you have to render a written decision. Is that correct?
Correct. It's the time frame for us to make the decision, yeah.
Right, okay.
Correct.
So by agreeing to this, we can put on the record that I'm agreeing to waive that time period for the same 30 days that we're being
Correct.
extended
Correct.
from tonight? It's not an indefinite extension, it's a 30-day extension.
Correct. And then if I am under the understanding that if you had completed the prerequisites that the town council is advising, and we can go forward on the January meeting, great. Otherwise, we would look to extend that meeting to another date,
Understood.
right? Just like we would in any other.
Just want us to all be on the same
Correct.
page about
Correct.
what tolling the time
No,
period all means.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then, all that being said, I would entertain a motion to continue let me open the public hearing first. HH 2024-20, First Baptist Church, the owner has filed a notice of intent through their agent, James Vieira, for Davenport Realty Trust, requesting a full demolition of the structure, including clock tower and steeple. The structure is over 100 years old, according to the town assessing records, and is located at 62 Route 28, map 10, parcel G-2. So we have opened the public hearing for the purposes of entertaining a motion to continue the public hearing to a date certain, which would be Wednesday, January 15th, no earlier than 6 p.m. Can I have somebody make that motion?
So moved.
So Bob Doan has made the motion, and who has seconded?
Second.
Paul Doan has seconded. All those in favor of continuing the matter until the 15th of January, say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries 5-0. I apologize to all of you who came out this evening, but we will be back on the agenda for the 15th. If we know something beforehand, we will let everybody know it. I thank you very much.
Pretty sloppy, I must say. I would just say that as having lived here way too many years. I expect more out of the selectmen.
So the next matter on our agenda is a public hearing for HH 2024-19. This is JSLW LLC owner who has filed a notice of intent through their agent, John Casal, requesting a window grill change on the first floor of a building. The structure is over 100 years old, according to the state and town assessing records, and is located at 585 Route 28, map 14, parcel Y3. So if you can come forward, and so there's some chairs you can actually be a little more comfortable, I hope.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is John Casal.
Thank you. And
Matthew Whitcomb.
thank you for stating your names for the record. If you could go before, present your application for us, just give us a quick overview. I would
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'm the project manager for the project at 585 Route 28, the old Heather's Airport building. Project consisted of an addition and renovation to the structure. We're underway. We're into mechanicals. I understand now that an error was made in the ordering of the windows. An error was made by us, Whitcomb Building and Remodeling. Windows were ordered with the right grill patterns, but the wrong choice of grills. The grills should have been applied to the exterior on the first floor windows and grills between the glass on the second floor windows. Somehow or another, we made the error. And what we're here for this evening is to request from the board if they would allow us, the windows are installed, if they would allow us to leave the grills between the glass, rather than changing them all out or fixing up to the applied grills. So that's why we're here this evening.
Okay, thanks for coming before us. Who'd like to start? Brendan, you want to start first this evening?
I mean, so I actually have a question, they're not really asking, we wouldn't be doing any kind of delay or anything, what would we be voting on?
It's really a matter that it's currently a violation of the
Yeah.
order. So really, it's a matter of whether we require them to remove the windows and replace the windows. And I understand that mistakes happen, but
Yeah.
that's really what the option is, and it's really the building department that would enforce if we don't accept the error at
There
face
are-
value.
Is there a middle ground here? Is there a way to apply the buttons or whatever
Well,
and
the easiest-
maintain the existing window?
the easiest answer to that question is, yes, there is. However, the way they need to be applied, we are not allowed to apply them. They would have to be, it's a cost thing. They would have to be applied by a representative of the manufacturer. It's a little bit more than just a yes. So,
Is it less than
oh, yes. Yes.
than replacing the windows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these windows are 10 feet wide.
And what would the result of that be?
Well,
Versus what we should have had?
Well, you're getting the muntin that would be on the window. However, there's nothing we can do to the grills that are currently in between the glass. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. So,
Well, I should say, the work you're doing down there is excellent, by the way.
Thank you.
well, I have to.
Been done to the building.
I'll
But
say-
I do agree that the windows, they need to be broken up a little bit. It's not appropriate, I don't think, as it stands.
I'll say thank you, and Matthew has been the one running that job. So he's been the one actually working and framing, and
Yeah, it's a terrific job.
thank you very much.
Anything else, Brendan?
Not right now.
Bob?
Yeah, I am concerned. I think, I was a big proponent of the external grills, particularly in light that the, second floor, it slipped through the building department because that should have been brought to us. What I am, I guess, I think Harwichport has really come a long way. It's a place that I think we're all really proud of now. And part of that is the way it has been built up and looked. And, when I look across the street from you, American Stems, that building, they have the same windows you do, but they're exterior mullions. And even Cumberland Farms has exterior mullions. So I do feel that it does have to be corrected. And if there is a way to apply them afterwards, even by Anderson or whoever's doing it, I would certainly encourage that. I mean, I know technically, I guess we could fine them for not compliance and leave it, but that doesn't help anything necessarily. That's my thoughts.
Would the windows have to be removed, or can they come to the work site? and
Oh,
do
no,
it?
they would be coming to the work site.
'Cause I would like to see them on there too.
And the applied grill would just be on the outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the existing grill between the glass would act almost as the simulated divided light portion? How do you think that would look?
That's the concern.
Because you're gonna have it's different than a full bar.
Usually there's an aluminum spacer
Yeah,
bar in between
mhm.
the two panes, and that was our major concern, is the overall delivery of the product after we applied the light with the mutton because of the sticking.
Yeah.
It just looks,
So the plan was, what we looked into, the existing grills between the glass are approximately 3/4
Yeah,
of an
they're
inch.
gonna be fatter.
Okay? The exterior muntin is most likely a little bit wider than that.
Oh,
So what you might see is a little bit of a shadow. So,
but I don't think, if anything, it would be interior would look funny, not the
Correct.
exterior. I think the exterior would look fine if it's a little bigger,
I would move that we do that, Madam Chair.
if we can.
Brendan?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
So probably not the best news you're hearing from
No.
us this evening. I think the,
listen, we're the ones who made the mistakes.
I know, and we understand people make mistakes too, so, you know, I don't think it was intentional, and I don't think any of us think it was intentional, but we have, that being said, we have also required other, we've required that of pretty much every building. I don't know of a building where we haven't required the full divided light windows. And it does require 4 out of 5 this evening, so I think you're pretty confident in the
don't think
consensus
we
of
are
my board
any
this
right
evening. This evening. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to comment? Okay, hearing none. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing then.
So moved.
Second?
So Lynn's made a motion, Bob has seconded. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Brendan, would you like to take a stab at the
Yeah,
at the
to help me through
decision?
the bottom part.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, I think
Yeah.
I think it's really just I think it's really doing the same decision and just saying at the end that
There's a condition.
there's a condition that applied grills be placed on the outside.
Motion for case number HH 202419, filing date October 31st, 2024. Hearing date December 18, 2024. Map and parcel, map 14, parcel Y3. The address is 585 Route 28. Owner on record is JSLW LLC. Agent is John Kinsale. Book 35766, page 121. Year built 1800. This is a proposed partial demolition. The description of work is requesting the grill change on the first floor of building. Historical significance is listed on the town historical property inventory. Proposed demolition would not destroy or substantially diminish the historic value. Want to switch that?
So I actually think you would switch
That's
that
where we
because
switch it.
because the application is requesting the grill change.
Yeah. The proposed demolition would destroy or substantially diminish the historic value. Determination, no demo delay period.
Yep, but with condition.
And the condition is Anderson Window Rep installing the applied grills.
To install, give me 1 second,
Yeah.
to install applied grills Where?
Exterior.
To exterior.
to the exterior of the first floor.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a motion's been made by Brendan, seconded by Paul, was it? Paul, did you second?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming before us. You know, I wish we
Had made a
could have
mistake.
done something, but
Me too.
okay. Next item on our agenda is HH 2024-21. John Carey is the owner, has filed a notice of intent requesting a partial demolition to relocate the home on the existing property. The structure is over 100 years old, according to the town assessing records, and is located at 52 Route 28, map 10, parcel D4-2.
Mary, I'll be recusing myself.
Yep, okay.
Thank you.
So we'll note for the record.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, could you state your name for the record, please?
John Carey, 52 Route 28, 5 Bells Neck, 5 Bells Neck Road, and then I also live in Hyannis.
Thank you for coming this evening.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too. Twice in 1 week is probably too much for anybody to have to deal with me, but
22 hours.
that is true. Would you like to go through your application for us, please?
Yes. The structure at 52 Route 28, historic captain's house, built in 1871, I believe. The property was in disrepair. I was able to purchase it, I think in September or October. I did file a building permit to do interior demo and exploratory demo, and I've determined that the frame is in good enough shape to move it. I think a lot of people know I like the old buildings, and I'd like to see it saved. Unfortunately, it sits in kind of a central spot of the commercial part of the lot. So for me to be able to save it, I have to move it back to the residential part of the lot. And so I'm asking for permission for that tonight. My intent would be to restore it similar to the West Harwich School with 6/1 Pella windows, the same hardy, it would basically look the same as the school. And I'd either rebuild the existing pine trim, because it actually looks better than the school, or I'd replace with AZEK, but I'd keep the same details that it has. So new roof, and then to move the structure, the chimneys typically have to go because of the weight. I think there's a few additions to the structure. My intent would be to keep the main structure, and then probably the like 1970s garage would go, and I don't know if I could save the side porch or not, but I would like to try. So
Okay.
if it's movable, if not, it might have to come down.
Okay. So I was privy to Mr. Carey's presentation at Planning Board last evening. So do you want to give the board just an overview of what the rest of your plan is, or just so that they have a little background?
Yeah, so my intent on the property is to try to kind of redevelop this front and corner lot to kind of create more of a town center in West Harwich. It would be substantially multifamily year-round housing for kind of local Harwich people. And we're kind of aiming, and when I say we, it's my fiance and I, we're aiming for the vicinity of 38 units. And if we go with that number, 25% of them would be deed restricted affordable, which is why Brendan has to recuse himself. All the parking would be out back per the historic standards, and then ideally I'd like to have some type of commerce within the property so that there's some public access and energy and people, commerce, I guess. So that's the main reason that the property has to move back. It would still be on Depot, and then my goal would be to repurpose at least this part of Depot to replicate the Mass Department of Transportation sidewalks and improvements to go down Depot, so Depot becomes a walkable streetscape. And so this property would still be facing a public, it would be similar, but we'd be able to save the structure. Unfortunately, I had to pay too much money for the land to keep this single-family house in the middle of the commercial district. But I think my track record stands that I do like saving these old buildings, and I think it's important to tell the history of our town. So that's kind of the plan.
Thanks. So just for your edification, the plan was to add 2 buildings, 2 or possibly 3 buildings with housing and some type of retail commercial use, talking like sandwich shops or something to make it more community. And I would...
Something like what they do at the Seal? At the Roots?
The Roots. Similar. He had a couple of different presentations last night with Planning Board, which was just a preliminary walkthrough, no application or anything really, just a discussion. So just so that you folks are privy to the same information I am with respect to moving that building. So we'll start with questions. Bob?
Sure. How many, just as an overall plan, how many units do you think you can get in there?
So, Title 5, Massachusetts allows 10,000 gallons, which is 90 bedrooms.
Right.
I'm looking for the vicinity of 40 units,
Okay.
and 2 of those would be inside this old structure.
Sure.
To pay for the moving, which is $125,000 and all the siding stuff, I need 2 units in there.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So
make
that-
sense to move a single-family home.
So you're going through the LIP process then?
Yes.
Okay, good. As far as the building, yeah, I think, maintaining basically the very much original building and then the kind of extension out back, that's what your goal is.
Yes, sir.
You do have to remove the chimney. I think that's
Most likely.
fine because it's not the original building. I mean, at some point that had a chimney. I know one on the side, but that's fine. It doesn't have one now. But I think that's a great idea to move it back. It's going to face Depot instead of Route 28, which I think is fine. I think the couple concerns I have is, as you previously heard, that your windows in that building should have exterior
Applied grills.
applied grills.
I'll put an asterisk next to it. Applied.
That one's important. And the other thing is to
You're to order them, actually. So.
I won't have him order them.
and the other concern is to restore the trim. I know on the Depot road side they were removed or fell off the, I don't know what you call those.
The corbels.
Corbels to get reproductions or whatever on those, or maybe they're in the property. I don't know.
They're not.
Too bad.
They were stolen.
No, they were there one day and gone.
I think they
That-
were
that's
taken off on purpose.
Before my time.
Yes.
You guys were on
No.
duty back then.
Way
Sure.
before your time. So those are the only conditions I have. Otherwise, I'm full support of the relocation of it.
I will just restate the comment that I made last evening, like, I hope you're able to do it within a cost that you are comfortable doing. I think it's a great idea to move it, and I hope you can pull it off. And I will just make one other comment, that you had mentioned AZAC. Our only condition on AZAC is that it gets painted.
Yeah.
So we typically don't have a problem with that as long as it's painted.
Yeah.
And that people don't, we recommend against using the plastic
Push.
covers on the screws. We recommend that they get puttied,
Why?
because the caps trap dirt and then you can see the caps. And I defer to these two who tell me that, or this one that tells me that all the time. So
My maintenance plan will handle that.
Okay.
You'll see no circles.
so that's just the one recommendation that we always make. Lynn?
Oh, I'm sure that the quality of work you do on this is going to be equal to the quality of the schoolhouse, and what you've done there is amazing.
Thank you very much.
So I have no problems with that, no issues. I just can't wait to see how it's gonna look.
Paul?
No, I applaud the work very much. I guess the only, did you mention that you're anticipating in the front to have a little commercial as well as residential?
Not in this structure.
No, I'm talking about. in
On the lot?
On the lot.
It's possible. The mixed use zoning is not appropriate, or current, I should say. So there'd have to be some changes to achieve that, or variances, or waivers, or something. We're trying to figure that out.
And is it expected to have a foundation cellar, or what happens?
This structure?
With this one, yeah.
So it's a good question. To put a 4-foot foundation is like $20,000. To get the extra full height, and I usually go to 9 feet, is another $10,000. So I usually do it just so you have the space, and if you ever need it down the road. So I would most likely put a full foundation. It wouldn't be as out of the ground as the school. The school is lifted because that's how it was. This would be minimal, so that Mary doesn't ask me to put brick on the foundation. So it would have a full cellar, yes.
And maybe add a brick on the foundation, no brick.
Not on this one, sorry. I'll put hydrangeas out front.
Maybe I could come over and put the veneer brick on.
If somebody wants to volunteer, they're welcome to. It's extremely expensive,
No,
I've
it's a
learned.
Great plan. I'm all for it.
Thank you, though.
Anybody from the public that wishes to comment? Who, you get to fight who goes first.
Me.
Okay. Sally, if you could come forward and state your name for the record, just so that we can hear you on a
John Believe.
microphone. If you don't mind, John, just for a moment.
You're welcome to use.
Okay, thank you. Well, good evening, it's Sally Urbano. I'm from West Harwich. I want to try and understand the visualization of this, John, because you know I'm your big supporter. But you're going to move this to the back. What goes here? What will we see here?
It's undecided at this moment.
Okay, and so,
There will be buildings, though. It won't be like a prairie or anything.
so have you been before to understand about the DCPC requirements at all?
What's the question?
Have you been to, before, either the planning board or the county, to understand about the DCPC requirements?
So, I will say he came before planning board just for an informal discussion last evening.
Okay.
But I don't think it's anything further. You haven't done anything further as far as that's concerned. So he had showed on the planning board meeting, you can see some of the presentation that he had for just an informal discussion. So nothing was it was not an application, it was not
Right.
not permitting. So really for for tonight, it's really just all we have privy to is moving that building.
Okay, and so my concern is about that, as the Captain's Row DCPC has some guidelines about whether or not the historic building can be moved to the back of the lot as it's facing 28, which is the Captain's Row area. I don't know, it's like a lot of legal language in there, but I think you probably should look at that before you start, get it clarified.
I'm not sure whether that's an issue or not in this matter, and I simply don't know. We'd have to reach out.
Right, that's what I'm saying, I think before, because my reading and understanding of it is it was to protect the historic buildings, and then there are a lot of, like you're doing the parking lot into the back, there's greenery, that's all what they want. But then there's things about if you move the historic building to the back, now it's, the historic building is on Depot rather than on Captain's Row. So I would just say, forewarned, get it taken care of before you proceed.
And my only comment to that would be,
It's right, I'm talking to
It's-
him, not to the historic
right.
commission. Yeah.
but we're also talking about he is looking to protect the building. So
Me too.
from my perspective, I'd rather see it protected and moved, still within that kind of area. You're still privy to the West Harwich School is still close to it. So just my just.
The entire lot.
I don't disagree, but there are the rules in the DCPC.
I'm
So
not
that's
disagreeing.
all
with-
I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not
Probably-
disagreeing with Sally.
Okay.
So
Okay,
Thank you, Sally.
thank you.
Appreciate your support.
Lou Urbano, I'm her husband.
yes, I am familiar.
Love the project, first, not opposed in any way. But we did spend, and this is off record, we did spend 3 years as a community going through the county and getting what's called the District of Special Concern. That lays down the footprints that you can have, the square footage, lays down how much room in the back, how much room in the front, lays out also, I think it supersedes even our own town's demolition delay, which says in terms of Route 28, in terms of whether a historic building can even be demolished. Again, it is so legalese, and I'm not interpreting it. I'm just saying what I read. I did ask one of our selectmen to make sure you knew that there was a DCPC district and that you should work with them to make sure this project can proceed without you stepping 3 feet ahead to be knocked back 4 feet, because that could very well happen, trying to prevent that for you. So the county really is knowledgeable about what you can do and what you can't. They're willing to work with you, I'm sure. But their number one concern is the visualization of going down 28. That was, and again, I can only tell you this from 3 years of working. They're really concerned with how it looks and moving a building, even though it makes all the sense in the world. Because of the DCPC, you've got a barrier that you've got to go through. So I thank you for your time and allowing me to go off.
Sure.
Thank you.
I wish you'd seen his presentation last night.
Okay, me too.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I
John,
think we're
yes, you want to come forward?
Thank you.
You got it. Did you get my pictures?
No.
John, do you have any additional comments that you wanted to make? So I will say this, if you would, because of the concerns raised, if you would like to continue to the next meeting, I'm happy to do that, because then you could at least reach out to the county and have a discussion.
No, I feel fine.
All right. I just don't want you to have to come back before us and pay another filing fee.
I feel good
We're
about
trying to be user-friendly.
it. It's a great system. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, though.
No one else in the public has any comments. Okay, is the board ready for a vote? So are we ready to close the public hearing? All right, so Paul has made the motion, Lynn has seconded. All those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries 4-0 to close public hearing. All right, Bob,
Yep,
want to take a stab?
sure will. Okay, the motion
Yep.
is case number HH 2024-21. NOI filing date November 12th, 2024. Date of hearing December 18th, 2024. Property map and parcel 52 Route 28, map 10, parcel D4-2. Owner of record with Town Assessing Department, John Carey. Agent, John Carey. BCRD recording information, book 24816, page 111. Subject building is built in 1875. Source used German age is Town Assessing Records. Demolition proposed, partial demolition. Description of the property is, proposed work is requesting a partial demolition to relocate the home on the existing property. Historic significant. Building is historically significant. It is listed, let's see, it is on Macris, so is that a different category? Is that the top one?
I'll just put Macris next to.
Okay. It does possess particular architectural value significance as representative of recognized actual style or period, or due to the method of construction and materials used, or by virtue of association of historical noteworthy architect. And it is listed on the town historic property inventory. And notes it is in Macris database. So let's see, that the proposed demolition would not destroy or substantially diminish the historic value significance of the building. Determination. No demolition delay period is imposed. Conditions. Conditions are that the part of demolition is as suggested, submitted on the plan. Additional condition is exterior applied grills on windows and restoring architectural detail. What did you call them? The cornice?
Corbels, I think.
Corbels. I don't think there were any other conditions that we imposed.
You're okay with a plain concrete Foundation.
As long as it's short, you know, as long as you say it's going to be hidden, yeah.
Should I just say trim and corbels to be replaced?
Yes.
Replaced or restored.
Second the motion.
Do you want me to say foundation does not need a brick veneer as long as it's a short?
As long as it's, what
We're
would
gonna
be,
say
6
4,
inches? 4
4,
inches?
6.
4 to 6.
Or 6
Yeah.
inches?
I could, there'll be mulch or something front, so
Right.
you won't see it.
That's why I will say if 6 inches or less showing.
Yeah.
From the street. Okay, so the conditions, demolition as submitted on plan, windows shall have applied grills, trim and corbels to be replaced or restored. Foundation does not need to have a brick veneer if 6 inches or less is showing from the street. Okay. All right, so we have a motion's been made by Bob. Do we have a second?
Oh,
Second.
All seconded. Thank you for the reminder. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries 4-0. All right, so please do check with the DCPC just before anything gets made worse. And really, watch the planning board meeting from last night.
She started.
I started, but I haven't.
Thank you all for your time.
Thanks, John.
Happy holidays.
Send you.
Same to you. So, just so that you're aware, that's what.
Thank you.
Thanks, all. Good evening. The next matter on our agenda tonight is public hearing. So we'll call to order the public hearing. It's HH 2024-22, 715 Main Street. The owner has filed a certificate of appropriateness through their agent, Sawmill Patel, to construct 2 additions on the existing building. The structure is in the historic district located at 715 Main Street, map 41, parcel D7-1. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to see you this evening.
Same here.
If you could please both state your name for the record for us and walk us through your application.
Good evening, Madam Chair. For the record, my name is Hal Chuba. I'm a consulting engineer in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, and we've been working with this project and abutting properties for the past 6-7 years.
We have seen you before, yes.
Yeah, you've seen us before. So we were involved with the 7-Eleven project.
Yes.
Then we came to this board a few years ago to convert the attic space on 7-Eleven for 2 residential apartments, and this was approved by this board, and I guess it's built now, and I'm sure you're happy with it. So at this time, we're here for 7-Eleven again, and this time we propose to square the building basically and add another 1,100 square feet of retail space that Sam and his dad and his family business would like to expand their existing liquor store. If you recall, they had the interior decorator back in a few years ago in this space, and then they have the salon. And the interior decorator moved to 721, the old post office that we developed into 2 retail with mixed use with 2 residential apartments. So basically, we'll be squaring the building. There's also another, at the southeast corner in the back too, there's another corner that we would like to square because with the floor layout, we have a bathroom in there, but you have the floor. So what I have a proposed floor layout, and we also have proposed elevations, and we have some renderings. But basically, what the addition will be 1-story addition, so it's not going to the roof. We're keeping the same roof line. This area here would be a flat roof, but then to add some details, we added the railing around so we can mimic some of the structures on Main Street, the abutting property to the west of his place. And if you remember, 7-Eleven too had that flat area in the middle. So the material that would be used would be similar to what's there now. It's all architectural shingle, same color, the hardy planks with the gray color and also the white trim. Windows would match the existing windows that are there now. So just to give you, so this is the existing building. That's the existing west elevation that would be in the parking lot. So the addition is in this part here.
And the roadway is
to
us.
You're right. There's no changes on Main Street because that's why I think the changes that were made back when we did the 2 residential apartments, and I do have the change. So this is the existing. This is the proposed elevation. You can see that we're keeping the same roof line, but we added the railing on top just to give it that little architectural detail. And we're keeping the same covered porch, same kind of design.
And you said that's the west. That's the west view.
Yes,
Yes, that's the west. That's the parking lot.
parking side.
Yeah. So the north is the same, no changes to the north. That was the addition that we did,
We
the
bumped out
entrance
forward.
to get the second meter to the apartment. The rear, there'll be minor changes. We're adding a couple windows and a door, but will match the style and of the existing windows. There'll be some landscape.
You punched out the side, right? Right-hand side.
Right there.
That's new, right?
This one here, yeah, we just squared the corner. Yeah. And we carried the covered porch on this side too, on the south side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why isn't the overhang, we have it like 3 feet or 2 feet?
Yeah, 3 feet just in the back. We don't want to encroach into the parking lot too much. We needed that room for the parking.
But it doesn't cover the walkway, right?
Well, the walkway is 5 feet. It covers most of the walkway. Most of the use will be, if you look at the site layout, most of that, the main entrance will be on the west side. Here, this is right. So that will be used for delivery more. So, and I do have some. As I said, I mean, there will be not much of changes on the lots because we really don't. We have the landscape that we did the last project, and we're in compliance. We're just adding a small island here just to protect the parking from that alley, you know. So the renderings are shown here again, and like I said, the colors would be the same as what's there now. So we'll match the existing colors and existing roof material, the hardy, and all the trim. I think we submitted the list of the materials to be used too with the application. And again, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Right. So really, the majority of the changes, they're being made
In the parking lot,
to the parking lot
Yes.
side.
yes.
Okay. Bob, would you like to go first?
The only thing I'm pointing out is, again, the windows, because when you did the front, you put the exterior grill lights, right?
Yeah.
But on this, I think they're not there now just because of when it was built. Yet the new, you're going to do the interior, you weren't going to do the exterior. applied grills?
We'll see, I mean, I don't know if we can apply them to the existing, if we can
No,
apply
no,
to the
no,
existing.
I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not making you do existing
Yeah.
windows.
Yeah.
At least I'm not. I'm just
I mean, new-
strictly the new ones because,
I think we can, but you're gonna have half of the
Well,
windows with no grills and.
I know, the only thing is that it probably won't be too long before you replace those windows.
Okay.
Yeah,
And-
that's fine.
And, you know, because they've been there for 25 years, I think,
Yes.
at least. And, you know, the windows do get replaced. So you're right, it looks a little odd, but I think the next iteration, when you replace the windows, you'll
Yeah.
have the exterior grills.
Absolutely.
It'll look great.
Yeah. We'll match the front, whatever the
Yeah.
front with the
Yes.
same grill, yeah?
And I do believe that parking lot is actually a street, isn't it? It is a street that goes through to Parallel.
Not
No.
that
Not that
parking
one?
lot, no.
The
Or is it
back,
on the back
does.
side?
On the
Back
east side,
does,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
it's the alley,
That's
yes.
not-
Okay.
It's really an alley, I think.
Yeah, it's
It's
not,
not even a
it's
real
it's
street.
not
All
official.
four owners own that strip, I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll argue that a different time. Any other questions, Bob? So your point is applied grills on the new
On the new
windows
windows.
and the old ones to be replaced whenever.
Whenever, the next cycle.
All right.
Yeah.
Brendan, any questions, comments?
Nope, thank you for the drawings, they were great. I like the fact that you included everything you said, you know, in the packets, in the drawings, whether it be selection of colors, shingles, material, which is really great, so thank you. And I do agree with Mr. Doan about the applied grills.
Sure.
Lynn,
No questions? I
Paul.
agree with everything that's been said already.
fabulous. Paul?
Well, I've got a couple, I guess, just for my own sort of understanding, but there's no way to access that second floor, right?
No, not, well, there's,
Just for visual.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can only access the second floor from the front, correct? They can access the,
yeah,
I'm
you
talking
can
about
access from the
where
other side.
the new
yeah.
yeah.
fence is up there.
Mhm.
I guess this building, I mean, you folks are doing a great job with the properties. I mean, I can't speak highly enough of the work. Unfortunately, the nips that are sold end up in my front yard. People can drive just about finish the nip by the time they get to my house, and they.
Everybody's
So I
house.
was-
Yeah, it's not
Everybody's
just
house.
yours, we're
Yeah.
a little outside
Every road
our,
in Harwich
we're a
has
little
it.
outside our application,
And
Mr.
In
Doan.
my
that's-
neighborhood.
We have the ability to control the.
We do
No,
not.
We don't.
I live on 124, and it has come down, I've seen
District.
less though. I've seen less.
But this now will be selling a lot of the same stuff that's being sold in your other building, right? I mean, is there?
Market.
Yes, so what we are trying to do here is we're trying to move the grocery store we have.
Oh,
Yeah.
there,
Yes, because we have the nail salon place here,
yeah?
and they need to expand, and they don't have enough space there, and we're running
Put
just
them up there,
yeah. So we're gonna be
they're gonna go in the other building.
yes. So we're gonna be creating 2 units in the 711 Food Mart.
Okay,
And the nail salon place will move there, and we will be moving our grocery here.
oh, okay. Oh, okay, so we're flip-flopping businesses.
I know,
Two delis.
No. Yeah, so running 2 separate businesses, is becoming difficult and expensive, just the grocery part. So that's why we're trying to move that into this
So you're
building.
gonna
So-
trade them?
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll go back to having grocery and liquor in the same,
Yes.
under the same roof?
And I can't discourage you from selling nips, is that right?
You cannot do that in this hearing, no.
We wish if we could, just tell people, well, we tell people, but like if they could like just do it right and.
It's compliance, it doesn't always work.
Does
Doesn't
that,
always work.
are you getting rid of
But,
your prepared food then? Because, you get the,
So what's happening is like there's a plastic ban that's going in effect
Yeah.
from January, which is gonna restrict us from selling our curry
Oh.
because we don't have like environmental friendly container that can like hold curry and not absorb it, like, like the Chipotle bowls and things. So
Well, that's too bad.
I think we're gonna be stopping.
Have you requested alternatives or delay on that?
So we are working with the health department to do the bylaws,
Yeah.
but it's already been passed. And the way it's written is that you can't even buy your cookies or like cold cut meat or anything from even Stop and Shop.
Yeah, we had a
It's-
similar issue in Yarmouth. And
Yarmouth, yes,
yeah, and
exactly.
We've delayed the enforcement for that reason.
So
Because
yeah,
it unfortunately bans all 7 plastics.
Yeah.
So,
What are
so,
Shaw's and Stop and Shop gonna do?
well, that Stop and Shop, part of the reason that it came before a Yarmouth town meeting was Stop and Shop advised that they would stop selling 25% of their products
yeah.
because they didn't have an alternative. So that's why we put in a delay of enforcement. So
And one more question.
I really
Sorry,
hope,
Tim.
I really hope we can fix that problem.
One of your pictures had the proposed sign changes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes.
You gonna speak to that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's.
We didn't really let him finish. We got a little sidetracked.
I mean, basically, the sign is same. We're just changing the one of the tenants, right?
Yeah,
From
and-
Lovely Nails to this.
So do the lovely nails go on the other one now?
Yeah, so when we get to like,
Okay.
after this, when we get to that stage, we're
They'll
gonna
be
be
back.
switching it, yeah.
No further questions.
Now that we're here, so if the modifications for the 7-Eleven, if there's no alterations to the exterior, just the
So you
floor
would need to come
layout
back for the sign.
modification, oh, for the sign.
For the
Okay.
sign.
For the sign. If there's any modification that, to the exterior that we can see from the street or from the parking lot, any public areas,
Okay.
then it's a certificate of appropriateness
Yeah.
before us on that property.
Okay, no, we're not there yet, but
Right.
we're thinking that we can make the changes without because it's a beautiful building, we don't wanna touch it really,
So my second question for you is, do you need to come back before planning board for this building for the 7-Eleven?
Oh, we don't know yet.
I don't know whether you were under site plan.
I have to
approval, so
check,
you might
there'll be no
have to.
change to parking or anything, but I'm not sure.
I just don't know if you need to for
Change of
the,
use?
I don't know if it's change of use, it might be change of use, it might be on the special permit. So I would just call
It
and
is a
double check on
special
that.
permit. It may
So if
be-
you
you're
have one
right.
already, it might be a modification or it might be a
Amendment,
waiver
yeah,
of
yeah.
site plan,
Yeah. Yeah,
based on what you're doing,
okay.
if it doesn't change the,
Once we know more or less, I
relationship to
think
the
we
building
can
to the lot.
probably submit something.
yeah, I mean, I would just
informal.
make a phone call to the town planner.
Okay.
Christine's pretty good and she should be able to give you a heads up on that.
Sure.
Does anybody in the public wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Hi.
If you could come forward and you could let him have the chair just for a moment, please, so that we can get him on the microphone.
So my name is Peter Antonellis, and I live on Parallel Street, and I'm diagonally in contact with the 715 property by about 20 feet, but
Familiar.
but the 7-Eleven crosses the back of my lot.
Okay.
I'm glad that Mr. Doan asked his question, because I really didn't read enough of the application to know that it was ultimately going to be a transfer of the operations between the two properties. That's my first observation. But we've always supported the changes, and we continue for both properties, 7-Eleven and 715. We don't find them detrimental in any way, and certainly very, very cooperative in making sure that visually it fits into the district. So that's fine. But not only did I not read the application well to understand that change of operation, my sight's somewhat impaired, so I'd like, if I can, to go back to the sheet that shows the western and the southern view, if you will,
Yeah,
because
show the elevations,
I'm
sure.
southwest. My only concern, and it's not a concern about what's going to happen, I just want to be able to visually see
Absolutely.
see what it is. My understanding,
South is the rear.
yeah.
So those are the existing.
Okay. That southwest corner here where that window is, This is the southwest corner, correct? Yeah, that is the southwest corner.
Yes.
And right now, that's the overhang over the sidewalk where they get into the nail salon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're done with this squaring out of the building, as you said, is that all gonna be, is this area here, the southwest corner, which is now really only covered by an overhang, and generally there's a walkway there, that's gonna change, well, it won't change the foot, to my way of speaking about it, it doesn't change the footprint because it's not affecting the changing the foundation, but there will be an extension, if you will, my understanding.
The first sheet shows you that. Right. So this is that job.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
referring
right.
to that window
Yes,
here.
precisely.
Right, but yeah, well,
Okay, yeah.
the wall would be moved back to here, so we're extending that southerly wall.
Just wanted to say,
in
I
westerly direction.
just wanted to be able to say that I've seen what it looks like, thank you.
Okay. And I can show you what it.
I think there
looks
is
like
another.
From your house.
Yeah, I think there is
Right.
another.
I think that's,
Mr. Antonellis, I believe this is the sheet right here.
So that's the front building, proposed rear building elevation. Okay, yeah, exactly, that's my understanding, thank you.
Would you like to see this one? I think this is the sheet. This is one of the sheets, I think. Beside the.
I heard over the focus of the.
No, I just want you to be able to be able to get close enough to see it.
Yeah, okay, just like that. And so there's no, well, I guess that is, the entrance is new, because there wasn't an entrance on that south side. Okay, but the parking arrangement isn't gonna change.
That's what they stated.
Okay, yeah.
And I do believe it would come back before planning. It just,
We don't have any objections.
You did bring up a good question. That door on the south side, that's really more an emergency door, isn't it? It's not.
Correct.
It's not for regular.
it's not an entrance.
Well, it's an
Customer
entrance for,
entrance. Yeah.
entrance for deliveries. Right now, the deliveries are
Yeah.
made in the alleyway, so the deliveries will be on the south side.
Yes, exactly.
Well, my neighbors might have more of a problem with that than we do. 'Cause they're there, not me. What else? I think that was it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Is the board ready to close the public hearing? Do we have any other comments? Does the applicant want to say anything else? No?
Close the public hearing, Madam Chairman.
So we have a motion to close the public hearing. It's made by Paul. Is there a second?
Second.
Lynn has seconded. All those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. All right. Brendan?
I have the wrong sheet. So if I can maybe read yours and you can mark it up, or,
Yes. Do you have the right one?
no, that's the wrong one.
Is this the right one?
That's not the, see, this is the notice of intent. Wouldn't it be?
Oh. Yes.
It's a little bit different.
Just hang on.
Certificate of appropriateness,
Yeah, hang on.
and I don't think I even have a copy of that.
No. Bear with us. So we do have a new staff person, and we do have. Would you,
It's like, do you have it?
here, I have a sample, it's marked sample, but we'll just have to have them mark it up.
These look different.
It's the application, isn't it? I don't
Yeah,
think it's the
they put the
decision.
demolition.
It's, yeah,
Yeah, that's application.
There weren't any files outside, were there? Would you go look for me? Thanks, Lynn. We're just gonna take a 1-minute recess to see if we don't seem to have the right, decision form.
yeah, this is different. I mean, we could kind of put it together, but
I would say if we have to, we walk through the,
walk through the
we walk,
informational on the top.
you walk through the
Yeah.
points on the application. Because you're literally making a decision that it is,
Nope.
Nothing out there? Okay, so just for, just a quick comment, we don't have the actual decision form with us, however, we can go through and detail the determination, so we're here for a certificate of appropriateness, so we're essentially making that determination that the application and the materials and the changes are appropriate for the historic district. So I would say walk through the demolition delay bylaw, and then we'll just make some changes when it comes to
Correct.
the determinations on the certificate of appropriateness or non-applicability.
Motion for case number HH 2024-22, filing date November 12th, 2024, hearing date December 18, 2024, map and parcel, the address 715 Main Street, map 41, parcel D7-1. Owner of record is 715 Main Street. Agent is Samuel Patel. Recording information is book 33744, page 7.
Can I, before we go forward, can I just ask, it's 715 Harwich LLC, is that the name of the
Yeah, that's not what I
owner?
have. written.
Okay, so if we
Yeah.
could just change that owner of record to 715
Yeah, it was not.
Harwich LLC?
Yep. 715 Main Street,
Harwich
Harwich
LLC.
LLC.
Yep.
Brief description of the work is to construct two additions on the existing building. Historical significance, it is listed on the town property inventory. And,
So you don't need to make any of those?
yeah, that's
No,
it.
you
I'm
don't.
gonna stop
No,
right there,
Yeah, we stop there,
Yeah.
and then you're going to make a determination that the application as provided is,
Signature.
Yep. Application provided.
you're gonna do the, you're gonna make these findings here.
Yeah.
It's really
Right,
this-
yeah, that's what I just showed him.
Yeah.
You want to say that the, if you read through that.
Well, it just says required for, it's not really saying exactly.
So you're saying that the application
Yes.
meets those requirements of a certificate of appropriateness?
The application does meet the certificate of appropriateness. You want to read the rest of it?
Yeah, so it would just say that.
Required for additions, new construction, and alterations of a building or structure visible from public space. And
Are appropriate for the historic district. is-
are
is the
appropriate for the
finding.
historic district. And then,
And then do you have any conditions?
no
For the-
conditions.
Yeah. no.
Actually, one condition, per plans dated 11/5/24,
Yeah.
and new windows will have applied grills.
External grills.
Yeah,
Is that-
applied,
it doesn't-
applied external grills. Correct.
Applied external grills. And do you want to include the?
put full divided lights. So the full divided light, especially in the district, we
It's
should
both
be,
sides.
yeah, it's both sides, has a space bar in the middle.
And do you want to add that the existing windows on the same side will be replaced with, will
No.
have applied, no,
No.
just leave them as they are?
Because that's not before us.
Only what they're
Okay.
touching, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only what they're touching.
So the only conditions I have are it's per the plans dated 11/5/2024, and that
Correct.
new windows will have applied external grills, full divided light.
Yep.
We're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. The finding is that the application as proposed, including the additions, the addition is appropriate for the historic district. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
So motion's been made by Brendan. I have no idea where my thing is going. Motion's been made by Brendan, seconded by Bob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It may take a day or so for us to get the decision signed.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Take care. Thank you.
Back to my. Okay. Has everybody had a chance? Next item on our agenda is actually, excuse me, the approval of the meeting minutes.
No issues.
No issues. And then the chair will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 26, 2024.
So moved.
This motion's been made by Lynn. Is there a second?
Second.
Paul has seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. So new business, we have a certificate of appropriateness application, add another filing requirement to provide a project narrative. So I'm not sure if I missed a correspondence somewhere.
Yeah, did we miss something?
It's this sample thing, I think.
Maybe
isn't
that's what the sample form was about.
Yeah, because that's highlighted on the inside.
Okay.
it? Which,
Oh, that's why we had it, okay.
So,
This is for the certificate of appropriateness.
yes, and I don't think that's a bad idea
Can I see it again?
to have a little more detail
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
for the application.
Yeah.
So, we can pass along that we are in agreement to add section.
Sure.
Hey, real quick question, who made that?
I don't know if that was Rachel or.
Okay, great.
Or we have a new secretary, board secretary, Sherry. Can't remember Sherry's last name, Reiser, I think.
Okay, excellent.
To add narrative section. Mr. Antonellis, did you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, we're happy to.
Any of the applicants that came before you, which is general matter. What's the status of the guidelines that are hanging on your website?
So we've stalled on that a little bit. I'm hoping it's something we can pick up in the next year. Because we did stall with some of that. We stalled with our demo delay bylaw changes as well.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say that I was part of the group at the time that adopted the guidelines, and every time I read it and I see the city of Salem.
Salem,
Aye.
yeah.
I know. I know.
Because, you know, as lawyers. you're
I understand
supposed to read
fully.
these things, you know, and so that's an open. But no, the value of those guidelines and the authority and their usage, all of those are an issue.
Agree wholeheartedly, and we did make strides a couple of years ago with members of this board, namely Bob and others, having tried to make some changes and try to clean them up and redo them. So I do think we should
I find no
try and revisit that, because I think some of it makes it. I think some of it makes it easier for some of the applicants too, right? They know what we're looking for before they come in the door.
Yeah.
You know, I like to think that we try to be user-friendly when people come in, but
Yeah.
but it's nice to nip things in the bud.
And just one other issue, the people who came about the window issue in the Muttons.
Yes,
From the Haircut Salon, I think is the property. that
Yes.
they redeveloped.
the corner of Bank Street.
Correct, yeah. When I think of that, I don't think, clearly it's a historical district. It's not designated as a historical district.
It was only here before us because it was a demolition delay.
Demolition.
Correct.
Yeah. Thanks.
That was the only reason, and it was a like for like. People don't have to come before us. Anything that's beyond like for like, they have to come, and that was the matter.
I'd love to keep these.
You can.
You can.
My wife will complain.
You can have my version too if you like.
Do you want more copies of
Yeah,
it?
we have money.
They won't last
I'll hang
me.
it-
No, they'll
I'll
take
hang it
those.
up in one of my sheds. Thank
Thank you.
you very much.
Thanks so much. Have a good night. So, in agreement to add the narrative section to the certificate application. Just one note on the last matter for Sherry and for Rachel, just that my notes are done on a demolition delay instead of on a certificate of appropriateness form. So that's all just to call that to their attention when listening to the meeting. Old business, do we have any updates?
I sent the properties that we talked about last time for
Fantastic.
the research, and she got back and saying that she's tied up right now, but we'll restart everything in
Perfect.
January. So,
Good. That sounds good.
yeah, no, she's,
Of course, now, every time I go down Bank Street and into the port, I'm looking at every single building.
well, that's
Of course
good.
you are.
That's good.
There's nothing wrong with that. I really don't have anything. We haven't done anything with CPC really as of yet. We have just the graveyard that we know about. So there's nothing else before us, right?
Right.
So I don't have much else.
Has
To
that
add.
come before us? Did I miss a meeting or on her
You did
presentation?
miss a meeting. It did.
Okay,
I
was it?
think
And-
She did come before us.
Okay, good.
Came before us here, and it came. I believe she came before us 2 meetings
Yeah,
ago
I missed
because
that.
she was before us for both that and the other application that was Island Pond that she's now withdrawn.
That's right.
So, but that wasn't a historic one. Anything?
Another topic, and it's more of a question. Thinking about the restoration of some of these houses, like what John Carey's doing, can he actually, for restoration, can he actually apply to the CPC for some money on that?
I think he may be able to if it's considered. Maintenance, no.
No.
If it is considered preservation or restoration, I think he can.
Like those corbels,
Yeah.
that's an expense that he shouldn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
theoretically have to. And if he had those items and it's a longer process, but people don't take advantage of that capability. I think the last time we had a non-town
Right.
building was the First Congregational Church on the stained glasses. Stained glass windows were restored by CPC money.
Right.
That was like 15 years ago.
That was going to say that was long before me.
Oh.
Well, you had the South Harwich Meeting House,
But that's a town.
but that's a
But it's a
town
town
building,
building, yeah.
technically, right?
And there were conditions on it that had to be viewable and
Right,
things like that.
right.
Which
No,
this
I-
case, I think that might be.
I mean, I guess I would encourage people to make those applications and then
explore it, yeah.
and then CPC can make the decision when you see the application, and you
Right.
can make the determination whether it is or isn't restoration, right? So I
a great
I take
idea.
that as a good point.
It could help incentivize
Mm-hmm.
people.
Absolutely.
Because that's what everybody says, is that if you do historic preservation, there's money here and there, but often you can't find it. But
Right.
I know
So
we
that's a
were
good point.
talking about upgrading some of our issues or rules. We-
Our guidelines. There are
Thank you.
existing guidelines for the historic districts, but
Right.
they are well
way
outdated.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
outdated.
be nice to have just even a quick cheat sheet, or at least something.
We were tossing around the idea of changing the demolition delay time.
So we did, however, when John Idman was here,
Yeah.
he had pointed out a number of concerns that he had with it, so I think it is at a point where I think we decided we needed to revisit that with council.
I think the issue was with the demolition by neglect.
Yes.
That was the real problem.
Yeah,
That was the big problem.
And
'Cause you're
it
really
wasn't
just selecting,
extended,
yeah.
right.
right, and there was
It
a
wasn't the
concern whether,
extension to like 18 months. I don't think that was an issue at all, but
Yeah, I don't
it
think
was a
so either.
package, and then when he left, it kind of,
yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
as
that was
well
the
as-
largest.
as well as, the guidelines, because I think
Right,
he
because
was
we were
tackling-
doing both at the
we were
same
tackling
time.
that too, so it just kind of fell by the wayside.
You
But
know.
that should be, the guidelines should be started up, but I do not want to volunteer to head that part up.
Yeah.
I would say we start talking about that in February, maybe. Give us January and start talking about it in February and see what we can come up with, see if we
I
have
know we
any.
have some administrative money.
Right,
Is
and that's
it
what I'm saying.
possible that we
It-
could hire somebody to help us with those guidelines?
It's possible. It's also possible that the town planner may be able to provide some assistance. She's just front-loaded right now
I know
with,
she's loaded
you know, all the plans that need to be updated that are overdue, so. So that's why I'm saying, let's revisit that topic February-ish, and then maybe we can see if that's something she'd be able to assist us with, or if, or see what we have for monies through administration, and see if we'd be able to get a little guidance from, even if it's from Cape Cod Commission, they might be
Yeah.
able to help us with that as well, so.
I have a
Anything-
couple of points.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention, I raised the issue last time about the bricks across the street here.
Correct, yeah.
For those that were aware of it, maybe this is old hat, I don't know, but at the selectmen's meeting Monday night, they approved a contract to have the engineering work done for the proposed changes to the bricks or trees or whatever there at the library. And I had, before that meeting, spoken with the chair of the trustees of the library, and she sort of pointed a finger to the DPW as the people that are pushing this, and they were hoping to get the plan done so they could see what's proposed, and then she still recognizes that she must come before this committee. But it's getting to be a little bit now more involved, where a plan has been proposed and or a contract has been let, and further expenditure is proceeding on that matter. The other thing I wanted to ask about was this time of year. I don't know, maybe we're too late, but is there any desire on the part of the committee to pursue a change in the town bylaws here relative to our ability to extend the delay period and have it before the town meeting this May?
So I don't think we're ready for that. I think that we were ready for that a couple of years ago, and then based on the changes that we had made, John Eidman, who was then our planner, had recommended some changes. He was concerned with what Bob had just talked about. There's a provision in there for delay by demolition by neglect that had some serious consequences, and he was concerned about our ability to actually enforce those provisions. So I think we need to have council look at it again for us.
I think Paul has a good point. We could just focus on that one issue.
Yeah, you want to just, it was too many things.
There was a
that-
lot in that.
Then just
Too
go to
much.
18 months, because any project that anyone's putting together, it's probably a year's worth of planning anyways. So to come in and just get the demo,
That's
yeah,
nothing.
it's nothing. So 18 months would have a little more bite.
And it looks like Chatham has 18 months and it's working well there.
Yeah, but then you have towns like Concord that have 6 months.
Right.
So I mean,
Concord is only 6
mhm.
months. That's ridiculous.
so there are different mindsets in different
But isn't
places.
the whole
so.
town a historic district, basically?
I think
that's
so,
possible.
yeah.
Could be, right,
I
could
think
be,
that's how.
could be, right, but I'm just saying, like, different,
Yeah, yeah.
interesting, because that was the one that floored me, because I was surprised that it was so short. I think at this point, to do a bylaw change would be tough. We could certainly propose it to the selectmen, so I would say through us to Sherry, if she could prepare a letter for us, if we're all in agreement that we want to propose a change in the bylaw to extend the demo delay period from 12 months to 18 months. I think we could do that and ask if the selectmen would agree to place that on the agenda. I think those items have to be in by the beginning of January, and council would need to draft that and review that for us, because I don't think the current draft is something we can just forward to them
No,
because
no,
of all the other
definitely not,
changes.
no. It would just
So,
go out. And I don't know if anybody has a copy of that. Do you? I might.
There should be
I
one
might
in
have
administration.
I saved a lot of stuff in the first.
Yeah.
Well,
couple years.
I think it was electronic, and I think
Yeah, it was.
we
There was a
forwarded
time we
it.
were all electronic. I could probably
Yeah,
find
yeah.
it.
And I
That
think we
we could
forwarded
just
it to
strip out
administration, so I'm sure
everything
they
except for that
have it
18
someplace.
Yeah.
So if the board is of the consensus that we reach out to administration and ask if they could place that request on the selectmen's agenda to add to the town meeting, then we can do that. I think that's certainly a good place to start.
Yeah.
I think the rewrite would be too much to go to
do
attempt at this
everything.
point.
Oh, no.
Just, I think I want to say the deadline is the beginning of January on those, and that wouldn't happen by then. Of that, I'm certain.
One other question I had was,
Mm-hmm.
I had a phone call just as I was leaving that I had to take, and that's why I'm sorry I was late, but what was
You're
the
fine.
reason we got postponed?
Oh, so we had a, late this afternoon, council had advised the selectmen and administration with the opinion that there were some prerequisites that the applicant needed to go through before coming to us. So they believed that the application here was premature. So we had two options for them, either to withdraw without prejudice or to continue to a time certain, and then told the timeframes in the demolition delay bylaw until, the next meeting. So that's what they chose, and then we'll see if they've gone through the prerequisites, then we'll go forward in January. If they haven't, we'll go forward. But I was privy to that much of the opinion only because of the timing of our meeting tonight. So I know Mr. Sutphin was probably a little upset that I wouldn't let him speak, but we don't want to take testimony in a situation like that. So I didn't want to preempt any of those options by not giving the applicant the opportunity to make a decision on that. So that's the reason that I didn't allow him to speak. We technically don't really have a public comment, but I always allow it at some point, and would have allowed it, of course, during the hearing if we took testimony. I'm happy to hear from people, but in this instance where we were advised by council that it was a premature application, we really wanted to make sure we preserve both their rights and our rights in that matter. So that is why we continued it, and I took it out of order so that the people that were here for that weren't going to be here longer than they needed to be. And if we had a way to notify people earlier, I would have. But you folks weren't even privy to that information. So at that point, my decision was to just do it on camera and all at once for everyone. So it's unfortunate it was late, but sometimes that's what happens. So I'm sure it will come before us again with an opportunity to hear a full spiel. Does anybody have anything else that we want to put on the next agenda for January other than the First Baptist Church?
Just request we have a bigger room
Yeah, we're gonna.
next time.
I-
If it's on there, we definitely.
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, I have tried. I tried for tonight, and there was nothing available. So
Yeah.
I will see what we can do for the 18th. See if they can
There's
move.
not a lot of options on how
There
to
aren't.
exchange places with conservation. for
Correct,
one
and we
night.
couldn't. I even inquired about the community center, and there's no ability to film at the
That's
community
right.
center. So.
And we
And
can,
while
we
it's-
can always
while-
change the date, right? Or does it have to be on the 3rd, now that it's already set in motion?
Well, we would have to open and continue from that date if we wanted to.
Oh, so you
continue
open up
to
a
do it.
meeting and then you
You just
continue?
continue it.
All right, I got you.
We could do
Yeah,
it
let's
with a couple of us in the
Oh,
room without everybody
understood.
having to attend.
Yep.
If that becomes an issue. Yes, I was aware that we were gonna have quite a crowd this evening, so we tried to fix that as soon as possible, but the other option is, I know I sounded like a crazy person, but if we can't fit everybody in the room and we're having a meeting, I cannot have the meeting under the open meeting law rules if
Right.
everybody isn't in the room and able to listen. So that is the reason I made people come in and
Yeah,
sit
that
and
was-
sit on the heater. So I didn't want to have to continue the meeting when I knew we were going to
Right.
dispense of the first matter relatively quickly, and then
Excellent.
be in good stead for the rest. I know I sounded like a crazy person,
No, you didn't.
but there was a method behind my madness. So
Well, I move we adjourn.
and I would second that.
Is that
Any-
box for discards?
That box is for all of us. Yes, you can put your stuff in it. All in favor of adjourning?
Well, rather than throwing it away.
Last thing I need.
We're adjourned.